Back in time, I've done reviews on the movie Sex and Pearl, also done by Ty West, which shows still to this day are some of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. And although I didn't hope too much for improvement in this one, I did hope we would get something else than Mia God walking around playing cool in the trash and makeup for almost the whole movie, thinking she is born a star. But of course we didn't. It is the same fix, but Ty West just sells you the same round banana over and over again in a movie that would easily have had a 4 out of 10 without Mia God in it, because it is basically about her going around playing cool doing whatever the fuck she wants. It is not a horror movie, only labeled as it by Ty West as a good fix to gain more interest, because it feels way more like a drama movie that you might watch with a girlfriend, but it is not a movie that is intended to scare you, like for instance Terrified 2 or Smile. Of course, like the last one, which this one is a sequel to X, there's very little actual horror in it, other than some odd 20 minutes after Mia God is kidnapped by the Night Stalker, which turns out to be a father. Like always, also with Ty West, such as in X and Pearl, there's no intensity in those scenes, and they are filmed insanely bad, let me tell you about that. Perhaps it is a certain point to make it look bad when you make hardcore snuff films with people being dead in it, as some sick cult from the 80s, but at the same time, the filming could also have been done in a more fluffed up touch. The story in this one is also very thin, where you a lot of the times you feel content. And that's a sign of a bad movie, when you just use a lot of flashbacks from scenes that already have happened in the movie, or flashbacks from the previous movie X, which tells me that you do not have enough story to tell. Although you can defend it by saying that you want to create a mood where the main character is haunted by her past, but that sequence is much better done and more intense in the movie 408, for example. Here, it just seems lethargic, leading us on to the next problem. Everyone in this movie are made to look tired and lethargic. Just look at Kevin Bacon, that sounds like a fucking gremlin. That is supposed to be the stalker in this movie. You got Giancarlo, the manager, that looks so out of place because the director has written an awful story here. Of course, Mia God may of course speak the son accent well and act well as a country girl and everything, but it is by and large the same act she has done in all these movies now. And although some might claim that Pearl is a bit darker version, it is more or less the same fucking thing. In this case, probably, the father Ernest is probably the best character, but he is almost not in the movie. And that is something I feel is a large problem. He should have been shown more instead of lurking in the shadows, because he is the only character that can create some horror moments in the movie. If we compare this one alongside the other moves, which we might have done a bit already, you talk about the mood being there in those other moves, but this one probably has that one dark character, Ernest, which the other moves lack. Anyways, none of them are good moves, and why Ty West was allowed to make a sequel? Well, he could just thank me a god for that, because that is clearly not down to him, because he can't make good horror moves. For me, this one then is a 4 out of 10, and just like the two other movies, it's the same grade for me. Mia God ain't fooling me into upping my rating like a lot of people get fooled.